Hey everyone, how's it going? The ARG for Collinsville happened over this past weekend. It was the first official Force of Will competition that happened with the bands, at least in the US. So I'm pretty excited to go over these, give you guys an idea of the ruler breakdowns. There's some pretty interesting stuff that we'll go over, so we'll go ahead and get right into it. As far as the rulers themselves, it was a very widespread breakdown, so I'll kind of have a graph here, I think, but it won't work as well as before, because before it's just Prisha, Fox, Other, essentially, on it when I make the graph. But here, we have 7 Lumia, 3 Soul. Good job, guys, who are running Soul representing there. 3 Malefic Tree, 3 Lunia, the Wolf Girl. She's the red Lapis Cluster starter deck ruler. We have 2 Gil Alhamat, 2 Farer, 2 Guardian of Fire Magic Stones, 1 Gilapis, Pandora, Guardian of Water Magic Stones, Faria, Lilius Petals, Keurig, Mikage, and Book of Light. So, as you can see, just the initial breakdown there is a pretty widespread as far as the rulers go. Lumia was the obvious choice that people are going to probably by default run. However, it didn't have that big of a showing in the top 8, as we'll go over here in a second. So that's really cool to see. Now, whether that's because of it just doesn't fare as well against the other decks as people thought it'd be, or maybe it just wasn't piloted well. Not quite sure, but it maybe because of the fact that it didn't do as well in this tournament, will make it so the next ARG possibly has even more widespread rulers and stuff like that. But really hard to tell at this point, but I'm extremely excited about this spread of rulers. We haven't seen this type of spread in a long time. And yeah, so we'll go into top 8. So this was the top 8 before they went into the Swiss, or not the Swiss, but the top 4 cut. So you do the full competition and people are in top 8, and then those top 8 battle it out to get the official top 4. So before that battle out for the top 4, the top 8 was, first place was Zach Schumann, I believe his name is, but he did a Lunia the Wolf Girl deck. So like I said, that Lapis starter deck ruler. And it's pretty interesting deck list. I'll try to post them all if you guys are interested in the article going over this. I'll have the link in the description below so you can click on that. I'll have the same breakdown I'm talking about here, as well as pictures of all the different deck lists and all that if you guys are curious. This one's interesting. The side deck, he also ran Mikage, so I thought that was kind of cool. Second place was Zachary Bain. He had also had Lunia the Wolf Girl, so I don't know where this deck came from, but alright, I ain't complaining. Next, Joseph Schilling with his Gil Alhamat deck, and it was sort of pretty easily predicted that Gil Alhamat might start making a comeback, so that's cool to see him back again, because he's a pretty neat ruler, I think. Next was Joshua Bursma with his Idrisil Malefic World Tree deck. Once again, this is a pretty standard deck, or at least deck typing. I think we'll be seeing Evil Tree lots to come. My dog's freaking out right now. Next was Travis. I'm not even about Marticle. I don't know. I have trouble reading people's handwriting, but he also had Gil Alhamat. Once again, people figured we'd see Gil Alhamat. Next, I like this guy, Jesse Johnson, with his Soul deck. I actually haven't had a chance to look too much at his Soul deck to see what he ran and all that, but just the fact that he's running Soul is cool. So I like you. And next was Franklin Klosser. So he had the Lumia deck. So like I said, I'm pretty sure this is the only Lumia deck that made it into the top 8 out of those 7. So that's pretty cool. And then lastly, we had Trey Jacobs with his another Idrisil Malefic Tree. So if you guys are doing the math there, I believe that was 5 different rulers in the top 8. So only 3 of them had more than one spot in there. And yeah, and even within those decks, just me glancing at them real quick, it looked like they were pretty different from each other as well. So that's pretty awesome. So as far as the top 4 cut goes, I'm not quite sure what the remaining 3 after that. I just know which 4 people won and who got first place. I wasn't sure of the placings after that. It wasn't very clear. But first place ended up being Joey Schilling with his Gil Alhamat deck. So that's nice. I'd assume that would have been the prediction, especially just because it's such a versatile deck, I feel like, at the end of the day. And it's pretty awesome that he's running things like World Flame Summoning and Conjure Time Bomb. These things that usually aren't really I haven't really seen that prevalent in Gil Alhamat decks. I mean, I'm very familiar with them because I run them in all of my soul decks, but it's just cool to see those in there. Next was Zach Schumann with his Lunia the Wolf Girl deck. Next was Zachary Bain with his Lunia the Wolf Girl deck again. So once again, those are seeing a pretty cool showing there. And lastly was Joshua Bursma with his Idrisil Malefic Tree. So inside of the top 4 we had 3 different rulers. 2 of them, the one that had the repeat Lunia is sort of an out there deck. I don't know if it's a legitimately good deck or if it's one of the ones that were just able to take people by surprise because they were mostly expecting things like Lumia and Idrisil, different things like that. So we'll see if that is actually a consistent thing or if it was able to get into those top 2 spots just from the surprise factor. But just as you can see, a huge variety from top 4 to top 8 to just the overall 31 people or so, 31, 37, I forget the exact number, but people that were there is really exciting stuff. So yeah, if you guys are curious what the decks were actually being ran, at least for the top 8, like I said, that'll be in our article listed below, and we'll keep you guys up to date as more competitions come up. And yeah, see you guys next time.